everyone! So today we're looking at watercolor painting like artist Leonardo da Vinci, and he was a painter from 600 years ago. So I have these chosen colors. These are the watercolor pencils. They're like magic. Wait till you get to see what happens. But I've chosen colors based on what Leonardo da Vinci would have used that long ago. He wouldn't have had bright yellows and pinks and blues. He had more natural colors. So I chose browns and maybe earthy reds and more earthy colors. And we also have a paint palette with lots of different colors, really beautiful colors. But I'm only going to use maybe the black, the brown, and the mustardy ochre yellow color. That's ochre. Can you say ochre? Yeah, funny word, ochre yellow. So I'm only going to use these because I want my watercolor painting to be in the style of Leonardo da Vinci. So I'm choosing those colors. And it's more of a monochrome color, kind of shades of the same color. So I've got my book ready and I've got a pencil, and I'm going to start with my first skill, which is being able to make watercolor go from dark to light. And we're going to do this with both of these. So the first one, I'm going to draw a little bit of a box. This looks like the Escher drawing that you'll get to do as well. This is where we want it to gradate from dark to light. And I'm also going to draw a circle, and I'm going to put a line through it. This one's going to be watercolor pencils, because these are great, but they're a bit different to these ones. And this one's going to be watercolor paints. Okay, I have a water pot. It is only half filled with water. You don't need to fill it to the top because I guarantee it will spill everywhere. So just half fill it. And I've chosen two brushes just to show you the difference. One is a square tip brush and one is a rounded tip brush, and they're both really soft. They feel really light and soft like a feather. So they're really nice to spread watercolor paint with. So I'm going to start with my pencils. I've chosen a black watercolor pencil because I'm going to color in really dark here, just like that. That's it. Okay, easy. That doesn't look like much coloring in. And a little bit, I'm going to leave a gap, and then I'm going to color in a lighter bit. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm not coloring the whole thing, not like a pencil. I'm also going to take a different color, maybe this brown color, and a little bit further on, I'm going to do a nice dark coloring in and a lighter coloring in, just to see what that's like. Okay. And now I'm going to show you what happens with the water. So I'm just going to take a soft brush, dip it, wipe it, tap it. That's really important. You don't want to have a big watery drippy brush. You don't want that. It will wet the page so much that it could even tear the paper. You know that water and paper don't really go together in large amounts. So you dip it, wipe it, tap it, and then you can take your brush to the pencil. Now look what happens. Isn't that magic? See it spreading? You might even want to go a little bit higher, and look how far that spreads. I can empty my brush, wipe it, tap it, and you can try with the light. Even the light color spreads, so you don't always have to press so hard. And if you want it to go from black to grey, a lighter shade of black, you just add water. And you can lighten the shade. So I'm going to try to dip it, wipe it, tap it. Let's try with the brown. How nice is that? So you've got from dark to light, and that's really important. That's why watercolor painting's a little bit special, because you have to practice with water. Let's see how light I can get that shade if I go all the way to the end. What do you think? It's beautiful, isn't it? Watercolor paint, magic. So that's the pencils. Very important with pencils that you don't dip the pencil into water and think that you can paint with the pencil, because you'll ruin the wood. It's a piece of wood, and inside is the paint, the watercolor paint, which is the pencil. So yeah, we don't want to ruin the pencil. So you always keep these dry and then you can use the water to paint with. Another good idea is don't take your pencil onto the wet paper. It needs to be dry. If you do that, you can push a hole through the wet, soggy paper. So be careful. Okay, watercolor paints. So I have my paints. I've chosen these colors in the style of Da Vinci. So I'm going to go over here with my pencil. I'm going to write dark. And over here I'm going to write light. And I'm going to see if I can do the same idea as the watercolor pencils. I'll use this brush this time. Dip it, wipe it, tap it, and I'm going to take this brown color and I swirl. So this is kind of my rhyme. Dip it, wipe it, tap it, swirl it. Because you don't want this to become a swimming pool. You don't want so much water that it's just really weak. The color will be weak. So now you can see my brush is full of that color, so I can start to carefully paint it on. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush, I'm not going to put it back in there, I'm going to empty the color, wipe it, tap it, and then I'm just going to spread. And look what's happening. I've got now light brown. I didn't have light brown on here, but spreading with the water allowed me to have the lighter shade. Can you see? Pretty neat, huh? So now I want to blend it a little bit, so I'm going to work with the color, dip it, wipe it, tap it, swirl it. You don't want to scrunch it. Swirl it, and I can make this side dark, and I'm going to gradually come over a little bit and just get a medium tone and then spread it into the light section. Can you see that? If you use too much water, you're going to tear your paper. So be very careful as you do that. I can see I've already started to tear it just a little bit. I could do that with this other color as well. I'm going to use this light ochre. Dip it, wipe it, tap it, swirl. So I have to swirl it in the beginning to really get a darker area, like that. And then I can start to paint that darker shade. Take it across. Oops, I mixed the colors, that's right. Empty the brush, I can just wipe that with my finger. Wash my fingers later, it's fine. And then I'm going to empty my brush and start to gently drag the paint over. I'm going to try and blend these two as well. What if I blend a little bit of the yellow ochre into that brown? And see if we can blend the colors together. What if I took a bit of brown into the ochre? Maybe make like a bit of an orange color. There we go. And if yours isn't neat and not kept in a circle, that's okay. We're just experimenting with how watercolor paints work, whether you're using a pencil or whether you're using the paint. And then feel free down here, you've got some space to experiment. Why don't you try try blending the colors. What if I took the brown and even a darker shade of brown, and maybe even this really light kind of peach color, maybe that's like a skin color. And what if I blend these together? See the effects? What can you create?